Trump is going to have a harder time breaking up with Elon than he thinks, and it's going to cost him a lot of his approval ratings to do it.
So, Rick, it was reported in the Times a few weeks ago that Elon Musk had lost out on an office in the West Wing. But since then, we saw that press conference last week with Musk, his son, and Trump. Do you think that there's a bit of a tug of war kind of going on, or some infighting between Elon Musk and some of the senior figures in the White House?
There may have been before the administration started, but there is no longer a tug of war. Susie Wiles has completely lost that battle, the chief of staff. Stephen Miller is losing the battle over H-1B visas inside the administration. That hasn't broken yet, but it's out, but it's circulating now that Elon Musk is in complete control of the White House. Whatever he wants happens. Whatever he doesn't want does not happen. Elon Musk is functionally now in America, and I don't mean to put too big a point on this. He is functionally now the head of government. Trump is the head of state. Musk is the head of government. Traditionally, the presidency combines those two roles, but Musk controls everything in the government now. There is nothing he does not get that he desires. There is nothing that he does not nothing succeeds if he doesn't want it to succeed. So, Susie Wiles has lost the battle. There are a few small power groups inside the White House that are concerned about this. There's some tension between Rubio and Musk about how far we capitulate to Russia. But Rubio will lose that fight. He's already lost that fight essentially. And none of these people wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, you know who my boss is? It's Donald Trump and Susie Wiles." They wake up and go, "What does Elon want?"
It's somewhat surprising, though, because, the Republican Party is built on, small state, more power, or, small federal government, more power to the states. So you would kind of expect to see a little bit more.
No. I that was the way the Republican Party operated. That was pre-MAGA. It's important, and I think this is something that a lot of folks have a great difficulty in processing, is that MAGA has taken over, Trump and Musk have taken over the branding, the labels, the logos, the name of the Republican Party, but it's a much different company now. It's as if somebody bought out the Red Cross and suddenly, instead of healing people, it manufactured chemical weapons. So the things that the Republican Party traditionally stood for, limited government, the rule of law, individual integrity, personal liberty, free markets, that's absolutely not what Trump and Elon stand for. They stand for an autocratic model that looks a lot more like Putin's Russia, where the president is all powerful, where speech is restricted to speech that he approves of, where the economic model is to get into the oligarchic train of people who are supporters and sycophants of the dear leader, not free markets and free trade. So I think it's a common mistake that people go, oh, you can draw a through line from Reagan to Trump. You really can't. There's a separation of the ideological predicates of the Republican Party that happened around. It started in 2015 and 16 when Trump ran the first time, but it really broke on January 6, 2021, when he ordered an attack on the U.S. Capitol. At that point, all bets were off about what the Republican Party stood for if it didn't come out of Trump's mouth.
How long do you see this relationship between Musk and Trump lasting for? Because they're two very big egos, and you
Sure.
say that that Elon Musk is kind of the person that's in charge.
Elon is in charge. Trump. Part of the thing that Elon recognized very early on, he treated Trump like a unsophisticated investor in one of his companies. Trump gets to go do the fun stuff. I'm going to fly Air Force One over the Daytona racetrack. I'm going to race my limousine around. I get pudding at 3:00. All those things that Trump likes in the spectacle area are things that Elon doesn't care about. Donald Trump is going to spend an enormous amount of time, because he's on the Kennedy Center board of now. He's going to spend an enormous amount of time trying to bring new musicals to Washington. Elon Musk is going to try to get into your IRS records. So again, it's important to remember that Musk is the head of government. Trump is head of state, and only barely that.
So you don't see that relationship kind of starting to crumble at some point?
Look, it may. If Trump's polling numbers start to collapse, which he's burned off almost 7 points of approval in a month. But if his numbers start to get into an actual free fall and he gets somewhere in the range that he traditionally has been, in the high 30s, low 40s, there may be more traction against Musk at that point. There may be more of a leverage for the Susie Wiles types and the others around him to say, Elon, enough of that. Thank you for your service, Elon. Doge was great. We're moving on. Now, look, Elon Musk has tremendous power over Donald Trump because of his money, because he owns this gigantic bullhorn social media platform that communicates to Trump's base every day. And it's very hard to extricate yourself from deals with the devil. But, any reader of classics knows that Mephistopheles never makes a good deal. There's always a downside. He always cheats. He always lies. And Trump has always been the Mephistopheles in these deals. But now Musk is that guy. Trump is going to have a harder time breaking up with Elon than he thinks. And it's going to cost him a lot of his approval ratings to do it. He's going to suffer a lot before he makes the decision to dump Elon. And when he dumps Elon, it's going to be an even worse problem. Because that's the first thing he does is goes on his own platform and says, I'm taking Trump off the platform. I'm de-emphasizing all Trump's messages. I'm going to change the algorithm. And by the way, Trump is an incompetent. He's a fool. I looked inside. He's a buffoon. I was trying to save America from the deep state and from liberals and DEI and whatever else stokes the Republican base's, fear buttons, their amygdala. And Trump's going to find himself in a very dark place. I don't know how it ends well for either man, but Musk has a lot more latitude and a lot more ability to cause trouble than anybody else.
Could we be kind of coming towards that point? Because, for example, they're planning some cuts to Medicaid. A lot of MAGA supporters would be on Medicaid.
Sure.
I was looking into tariffs this week. Even if you just take one state like Utah, farmers in Utah are kind of up in arms saying, we send a lot of exports to places
100%.
like China. And they've spoken to local newspapers and said, we voted for you, Trump, but please don't do this. It's really going to hurt agriculture. Could that kind of start to make an impact come midterms?
It can. And I think that's where there's always been a scaling problem for Trumpism. Unless you're in a very safe red district, if you behave, act, talk, and govern like Trump, you will not survive. Your numbers will drop off. If you're in a very, very red state or very red district, you've got some more latitude. But so far, the fundamental predicate for a lot of these voters' choices was, I want to punish other people. Trump is the avatar of my anger. Trump is my retribution, as he said to his folks time and again. They expected in Utah and in Missouri and in Florida and all over the place that Trump was going to punish the imaginary demons that they're told are coming to get them every day. They were told, those Mexicans want your job. No, actually the Mexicans come here and do stoop labor in fields, and they work in hog processing plants and chicken processing plants. And I can tell you, as people, my family is in agriculture, you can't hire Anglos for a lot of these jobs. They won't take them no matter what you offer. But folks from Latin America and Central America come here to do very, very ugly, hard, difficult jobs. Florida, you can't get construction workers right now because the legal ones are hiding from ICE just as the illegal ones are hiding from ICE. You have a impact of USAID being shut down that is harming farmers throughout the Midwest and the Deep South, not, as I like to say, notoriously blue areas of the country. There's a very difficult equation for these folks. They're going to take a lot of pain. The question is not, does it hurt Trump? It won't hurt Trump. It will hurt Republican congressmen. It will hurt Republican senators. It will hurt Republican state and local officials. And the reliance on Trump and Trumpism, with its message of we're going to hurt the people you hate, Elon Musk doesn't care about any of those things. Elon Musk has this weird, separate ideological construct in his brain, and he's going to hurt everybody. They're going to punish everybody. They believe that these people on Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, disability are useless eaters. That they are parasites on the system. And Elon and his folks want a big tax cut, and you got to pay for it somehow. So you got to cut the money where the money is. You know, Willie Sutton, the old American gangster. Why do you rob banks, Willie? Because that's where the money is. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, disability is where the money is in the government. Cut DOD by half, okay? Cut it by $500 billion, and you still are not even, you don't even have the going in money on the fact that Elon and these guys want a $7 to $10 trillion tax cut. There's no way to do this without slaughtering the social services budget in America. And as much as a lot of MAGA voters say, I pulled up by my bootstraps and I'm an independent free market guy, keep government out of my Social Security. There's a lot of folks in that demo. And Steve Bannon even pointed out the other day who are on Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, disability, SNAP, TANF, all these other programs. They hate socialism, but when they're getting it, they don't call it socialism.
You know, we've got, a year and a half until the midterms. What do the Democrats need to do this time if they want to make an impact in those places where, the congressmen are going to be hit?
Stop talking about policy, stop talking about policy, stop talking about policy, stop talking about policy, and also stop talking about policy. A lot of the things that Democrats do in their campaigns come down to read our 700-page climate plan and you'll understand why it's important. Just accept our gun control plan, even though you live in the country and we've told you that, you told us you don't like this, but we're going to force it down your throat anyway. Don't fall for the bait of the culture war. They should be repeating over and over again to red state voters and red district voters, Trump is hurting you. Elon is hurting you. It's chaos. It's pain. It's money out of your pocket. Why are you letting them do this? Why is Congressman Smith not fighting for our farmers? Why does Congressman Jones think it's okay to shut down the people that are protecting us from nuclear war or nuclear accidents? Why does Congressman Brown think it's okay that America is giving up in the world and making us less safe? Why does this congressman want to send your son and daughter to fight in Gaza so Trump can build a resort? All these things, they should be putting back the pain and the suffering and the misery and the chaos right back onto Trump and Elon. Elon is going to also be somebody, it's harder and harder to stomach when he's a guy who owns 7 private jets, but he's telling farmers, no, you don't get to sell your food to USAID. When he's telling auto workers, when Trump's telling auto workers, yeah, I'm raising 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum, meaning cars are going to go up 25% or more, meaning fewer auto sales, meaning fewer auto jobs. These guys are doing a lot of chaotic, dangerous, destructive things right now. And Democrats do not need to run on trans issues or climate change or gun control or any of the other things that they love dearly. We can argue about the merits of any of those things, but those things are repelling voters away from them when there's an obvious, clear, crisp, easy attack that will cause Trump and Elon to get into a cycle of, no, we're not hurting you. Yes, we're hurting you. No, we're not hurting you. Yes, we're hurting you. Because the 2026 elections start in about 9 or 10 months. By the end of this year, we will be fully into the 26 cycle. And they have to accomplish these terrible things they want to accomplish now because they know the damage is going to hit by the fall of this year. And that damage is something the Democrats should be turning on and converting on and showing the voters in this country that what, let me say this. MAGA comprises about 40% of the country. Of that 40%, about 15% to 18% are behavioral Republicans who are like, I can't vote for a Democrat no matter what. Only a fraction, about 30%, 35%, somewhere in there, are the jihadi types, are the crazies, are the red hat, Trump trucks, Elon fanboy weirdos. The rest of them are normal Americans who just behaviorally couldn't buy the Democratic message. Give them something to go at. And I will say this is a cynical opinion, but it's a true one. Trump gave the Democrats, or they gave the Republicans something to hate. It was an imaginary demon, but he did a really good job telling the story. The Democrats have the chance to give Democratic voters something to hate that's real. Damage, chaos, destruction, costs, inflation, misery, economic despair. Those things are going to add up, if they do this properly, to a very tough midterm political environment. Oh, and corruption, which has always been sort of a killer app underneath a lot of big turnovers in the House of Representatives. So it's going to be a very tough go for Trump and Elon if they do this thing improperly.